Hello and welcome to another episode of Teacher Robin's Sunday Sharing. Today is December the 4th, Sunday, and the theme on Sundays is where I share something very personal, very intimate with my viewing community. I don't call the audience because YouTube community actually can communicate with each other where a typical TV audience it's very difficult for them to do that. So with YouTube advertising, YouTube markets, it's much like Facebook where people are more of a community to the video creators. So the story I'm going to share today is how I burnt out 3 years ago. I was basically working 6 days a week. I was a very good compounding pharmacist. I was working 6 days a week and thinking about it, and often going in on Sundays thinking I needed to be there on that day as well, as if 6 days wasn't enough. My days were often 10-hour days and very few breaks because I didn't have a lot of money to buy another compounder, let alone a specialized advanced compounding pharmacist. And the cost for hiring a pharmacist in Western Canada, at least 3 years ago, was around $100,000 a year plus. So basically, due to a lack of balance in my life, I wasn't getting to the gym, I wasn't probably eating properly, I'd become overstressed, and I developed some very bad habits. Like I started using sleeping pills in the end and some other pharmaceuticals. And so 3 years ago, I literally burnt out. The doors of my pharmacy were closed. And I can remember 2 weeks later when two phases hit me. One was, detox from sleeping pills, etc. And the other was sudden loss from over-ego identification with my previous job that I'd done for years, so almost 18 years. So I'm sitting at my computer 3 years ago, and I'd lost 20 pounds in like 10 or 12 days. And I did this simple math, and the math went kind of like this. So if I lose 20 pounds in 12 days, how heavy am I in 3 months? And it wasn't a good answer. So I'm sitting at that computer and I'm saying, if there is a higher power out there, now would be a good time to show me the direction to go. And somehow I came across a gentleman by the name of Adam King. He runs a site called Tessera on the internet, and so I signed up, paid my $60 with my credit card, and what I learned was so valuable. To this day, it's probably the number one thing I've learned that helps me understand the universe, let alone life. So I put headphones on, and through a process called mental auditory stimulation and some key words, emotionally charged words like your mother's name, other things like that. The focus is shifting your consciousness allocation from your left brain to your right via music. Whenever he spoke, it would be in the left ear, which crosses over to the right brain, and guided visualization as well. So music, guided visualization, and certain key words, and speaking in the left ear. Within 2 hours, all those excess catecholamines and stress response hormones, all that stuff was literally shut off. And I realized that we did operate our brains in a state of parallel awareness. We have a right brain heart connection, which is unity domain, and we have a polarity domain, which is ego, also linked to the reptilian complex. And they're totally two different worlds. The left brain requires active balancing. We have to control our thoughts and what our coconut thinks, because our thoughts lead to our actions, which lead to our behaviors, which lead to our character and habits. Thoughts are everything. So I literally learned how my coconut worked, but I learned it at a price of being starting with an out of balance workaholic work life to the stress of detoxing and sudden business loss and grief due to over-ego identification. And that drove me to find luckily to find a solution with my higher power's help, and to understand how our coconuts work in a state of parallel awareness. At that point, all I had to do after that was quiet the monkey chatter, which is the left brain, And I did that with the mantra of I will not judge others or myself excessively negatively, but I will let all positive in. Now, I must have said that whenever I caught a bad thought, a jealousy thought, over judgmental thought, and that person's fat, that person's ugly, I would say, no, stop it, and I will not judge others excessively negatively or myself. The bonus part was myself, because then I started to love myself more in a good way. And so once I did that for about 3 weeks, and around 4 weeks when I thought nothing was working, because it was taking effort and energy. But around week number 4, suddenly things got quiet. A habit had been established, and the ego was being trained, like a squelch button on a walkie-talkie that's going shh. It was turned down, and now I had the ability to, when I went to bed at night, ask a question like, "How does the universe work?" Or "How does the universe work?" That was one of my number one questions, and believe it or not, I got little tidbits up until this day on how the universe works. So I know how. To make a long story short, we are the radiant energy, the golden blanket underneath this illusion of polarity. Via octave musical mathematics, from our essence as radiant energy, polarity arises of motion, and it weaves itself in a blanket of polarity with soul centers, which are consciousness centers, and heart domains are really clear windows into our essence within, or through that polarity blanket. So that's pretty deep, and if you don't understand that, I don't blame you. I wouldn't have understood it 3 years ago either. But now I've done a lot of changes since then, and I feel like I look at life as an observer. I observe, and when I catch my ego acting, like trying to steer the bus, that's another thing I did, is I put my ego in the passenger seat, and I let my heart domain drive the bus, because in heart domain, love, compassion, and empathy, it's foolproof. You're already there. And then I'll just let the ego kind of look out for, with the 5 senses, that I don't stick my head in the lion's mouth, or, my hand on a hot stove, or whatever. What it's really meant to do is protect us in this avatar in polarity. So that's my story. It's a story of being way out of balance in a cold climate, making lots of money, to a story now where I have lots of time. I teach English online 3 hours a day average, maybe 4 at the most, average 7 days a week. I have lots of time to do what I love, which is learn. Learning is my number one passion, and to stay centered and focused, to create wonderful videos like this with, I have no get rich quick scheme in mind. I just love making videos. In fact, at this point in time, on week 2 of being a video creator, I'm still puzzling over the search engine optimization, the keywords, the meta tags, the descriptions, and I've come to a conclusion that I don't like those people that chase the waves, and they don't build a loyal audience with their community of followers, subscribers. So I'm going to sign off. It's Sunday. Sunday summers. There's an airplane going by. We'll just let it go by. We're fairly close to the Chiang Mai International Airport. And I think they launch an airplane about must be about every 30 minutes at times during noon till 4 o'clock at least. Maybe 10 a.m. till 4 o'clock. They're really, really busy. So on my channel, please subscribe to the YouTube Teacher Robin channel. I have daily themes to mix it up a little bit. I try to keep my videos, to be honest with you, between 3 and 5 minutes, because I figure if you can't get something expressed in 3 to 5 minutes, maybe you're saying too much. Now, on a topic like spirituality, going back 3 years, and which really covers a lifetime. Okay, I took 10 minutes to do this video, but really I prefer 5-minute videos on average at the most, sometimes even 3 to 5 minutes. Also, subscribe to my patreon.com/Teacher Robin website. You'll see the links, I think if I'm looking on the screen, that'll be my YouTube subscriber button, and then down to the left will be a video, and maybe down to the right, again, my right, will be the Patreon website, so you can look at all three of those at the end of this video if you like to. So again, thank you very much. This is the why. It's very much like Namaste, and let's make a lot of videos together and have fun in this beautiful country, beautiful weather, beautiful people, delicious low-cost food, cheap place to live. It's not dangerous. It's more dangerous in any city back home. Of course, you don't do anything that you wouldn't do back home. You don't do it here either. But another little tip is, compared to South America, at least Thailand, in my opinion, is way safer, and about probably 30% cheaper too. So stay tuned. My whole intent is to share my life experiences, and I want to help people make changes in their lives that are positive and encouraging, and to learn through my experiences and that I've had, and the experiences that will come in the future. So again, please subscribe and join me on this journey. Thank you very much.